Welcome to the Squeaky Wheel Farm. Hi, I'm Christine and I'd like to show you how I plant my tomatoes. Now these are ground eggshells. I save my eggshells when I'm cooking throughout the year. I just put them in a 5-gallon bucket in the garage with a lid on it. And come springtime, I'll grind them up and I use them in my garden. It helps the tomatoes with blossom end rot because it adds calcium to the soil. By grinding it, I think it has a little bit more plant availability, and the plants can use that nutrient right away. Now, I do this every year, so it does build up in the soil. So some people say that eggshells don't break down right away. Well, I've done it for the last several years, so I can't really swear that this helps my plants this year, but it will help my plants in the long run. The other thing I use these for is they can be added to chicken feed to help strengthen their eggshells. Another thing I do is I add Epsom salts to a lot of my plants. Epsom salts is not a salt, it's magnesium sulfate, and plants need magnesium. The reason they need magnesium is it just helps with photosynthesis, where the plants get their energy from the sun. This helps to build the chlorophyll. It makes the leaves nice and green, helps keep the plants healthy and strong. And it's just an added bonus, so easy fix for a lot of problems in your garden. Just add a little bit of magnesium sulfate, which is Epsom salt. Now, when I plant my tomatoes, I put just a tablespoon into the hole and I mix it around with the dirt so that it isn't directly on the roots. And I'm sorry about the rooster. He seems to want all the attention these days. But anyway, I put a little bit of this in each hole when I'm planting my plants, especially the tomatoes, and it helps so much. Now you'll know you have a magnesium deficiency if your plant leaves start to turn yellow between the veins and sometimes around the outer edges. That's a definite signal that you have magnesium deficiency. A little bit of Epsom salts will help cure that problem. Now, blossom end rot is caused by a calcium deficiency, and that's why I add eggshells to my soil. Now, some people incorrectly think that that's because of unequal watering, and that is partially correct. The plants need water to take the calcium up and through their roots and into their plant. So it's partially correct. If they don't have water, they can't take the calcium up, which can cause blossom end rot. Now, blossom end rot starts as just a black or a brown spot on the bottom of your tomatoes usually. Another thing I do with my tomato plants is I take off all the bottom leaves and just leave a couple at the crown, and that way I can bury this all the way up to the stem, to the lower leaves. If you look closely at your plants, you'll see that they're small, hairy fibers. Now, each one of those will become a root and be able to draw up nutrients and moisture for the plant, which will make it much stronger. So that's why you want to bury it deep. When you're planting your garden, you want to think about what the plant needs. Plants are simple. They require sunlight, water, and proper nutrients. If you provide what the plant needs, you have a better chance of your garden doing well. Now, I've already amended the soil by adding compost before I put down the grass clippings. By adding calcium and magnesium into the holes while I'm planting, I provided some of what the plant needs. The stronger the plant, the less likely it will succumb to pests or disease. And when I'm done planting these tomatoes, I plan on going back through and planting a few marigolds and nasturtiums in between to help deter pests. Now, I use soaker hoses as well to water my plants from underneath because I want to avoid the lower leaves from getting wet and also avoid soil splashing up onto the leaves. And that can cause diseases. So you want to make sure that when you water your plants, especially your tomatoes, that you water them from underneath. And I suggest either using a drip hose or a soaker hose, something like that, so that you can water from underneath and it doesn't have the opportunity to splash on your plants. The other thing that I do is I use mulch. During the summertime, I use grass clippings because that's what we have and it's free, but it does help to retain the moisture in the soil. And if the soil's moist, it's less likely to get hard and dry and baked like a brick, which is what I would have if I didn't use mulch. But I put these grass clippings out on my garden rows a few weeks ago, and the soil is nice and moist, and it is very soft, and I didn't do any tilling. All I have to do is just brush it away with my fingers. It's pretty incredible, but it works. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing. I hope to see you again soon.